welcome back to Jades Corner, the channel where I provide high quality and thought-provoking Teen Wolf content. In today's video, I'll be power scaling all the supernatural characters from Teen Wolf Season 5A or Teen Wolf Season 5 Part 1, which first premiered on June 29th, 2015. At number 18 is going to be Corey, who is a werewolf chameleon chimera. Now, I don't really have that much to say on Corey, honestly. He doesn't really do anything. He doesn't really have any feats of strength that really put him above anything else or make him stand out. So realistically, of all the supernaturals that would appear in this season, even though chimeras technically aren't supernatural, they're essentially enhanced humans, Corey should realistically be at the bottom. Now at number 17, I'm going to have Noah Patrick, who is a werewolf berserker chimera. Much like Corey, he doesn't really do anything of significance. He's really only above Corey because we do get to see at least a couple of feats of strength from him, but they're not that impressive. So yeah, this is where I think Noah Patrick goes. At number 16 is going to be Joshua Diaz, who is a werewolf electric eel chimera. He was by far, in my opinion, the weakest aside from Corey of Theo's chimera pack, with Tracy showcasing that she can hold her own against Lydia Martin, Malia Tate, and Kira Yukimura all at the same time, which we saw back earlier in Season 5, Part 1. So, yeah, Josh doesn't really have any impressive feats of strength. He gets fodderized pretty easily throughout Season 5, Part 1 and Part 2. Theo took him out with relative ease. It wasn't even a challenge for Theo, and he kind of is like the butt of the joke most of the time. Most of the time you see him with the other members of the Chimera pack, he's usually getting made fun of. So yeah, Josh at number 16 is where I think he realistically should be. At number 15 is going to be Lucas. Now, you could say Lucas could be higher on this ranking, but in my opinion, I think this is where he respectively goes, because although Lucas gave a pretty decent fight against the actual supernaturals like Scott, Liam, and the others, etc., he was, again, like the other chimeras, not that impressive because he got easily fodderized once everyone kind of figured out his little weakness of, you know, his biggest thing, which was his poison from him being, you know, part scorpion. So yeah, Lucas, in my opinion, is number 15. Not really anything too much to talk about there. At number 14 is going to be Donovan Donati, who is a werewolf Wendigo chimera. Now, Donovan is here mostly because he is part Wendigo, and we know exactly how strong Wendigos are in Teen Wolf. I mean, the one actual fight we got with a Wendigo, he was able to pretty much get the upper hand in terms of strength on True Alpha Scott McCall. So yeah, Wendigos are no joke, and Derek talks about them in Season 4 as if he like highly respects them. So yeah, the only really showing we really get of Donovan is when he's like kind of hunting Styles throughout the school in Season 5, Episode 5's opening. But his abilities are pretty broken. Like, he can pretty much smell you and figure out where you are, because he's also, I guess you can consider him to be part lamprey too, or lamprey, because he has like a little lamprey mouse that can like form wherever he wants on his entire body, which is kind of scary when you think about it, because where else on his body can, you know, we're not even gonna go there. Donovan's at number 14. At number 13 is Hayden Romero, who was a werewolf were-jaguar chimera, but is now currently a werewolf. I'm not gonna put werewolf Hayden on this list because we barely get any feats of her. Like, I don't even think we even see her do anything as a werewolf. Like, we see her flash her eyes once in Apotheosis, and that's it, signifying that like Scott successfully gave her the bite. And yeah, that's really all we see of Hayden as a werewolf. We get more feats of her being a chimera, and even with the feats we get, like most of the other chimeras in the season, they're not that impressive. There's only really 3 chimeras in the entirety of Season 5, in my opinion, who really stand out as being actual threats to real, like, actual supernatural creatures, and we're gonna get to them in a sec. But yeah, Hayden at number 13 is where I think she realistically belongs. At number 12, we're gonna have to go with Tracy Stewart, who was a werewolf Kanima chimera. So literally Jackson Whitmore, but the Walmart version of him, because Jackson is a natural hybrid, whereas Kanima was made in a freaking lab, or not, I said Kanima. Tracy was made in a lab by the Dread Doctors, but despite her being a chimera, she was actually fairly strong and was actually able to keep up with Lydia Martin, who's not a supernatural within herself, even though she has supernatural abilities. She's pretty much a human with like an enhanced scream pretty much. And then you also have Malia Tate, who she was able to keep up with, which is kind of impressive because Malia is decently strong. She's not the strongest character in Teen Wolf, but she's relatively strong for what she is. And then you have Kira Yukimura, who of the three of those characters is easily the most powerful and the most impressive in terms of characters she was able to keep up with. So yeah, that alone makes Tracy eligible to be this high up on this list. Now, at number 11, we're going to have to go with Belasco, who was a werewolf Garuda Chimera. Belasco only appeared in Season 5, Episode 1, Creatures of the Night, but from what we did get to see of him, he was pretty powerful, not going to lie, for a Chimera. I'm not going to use the Jordan Parrish thing, even though, like, it's impressive, but it's not, because Parrish didn't even know he was a Hellhound. He knew he was supernatural, but he didn't know he was a Hellhound. So he kind of caught Parrish off guard, so that's not really anything too deep to look at there. In terms of his fight with Scott McCall, I will say that it was very impressive because he got the upper hand, and he was, I wouldn't even say successful trying to take Scott's powers, because we all know that Belasco, even though he was draining actual power from Scott McCall, he wouldn't have been able to actually take his true alpha powers, because only a beta of his own making can take Scott's power. So yeah, his fight with Scott was decent. But, you know, once Scott got in his bag, we all know what happened there. Belasco got absolutely foddered and then ran away like a little bitch. So, yeah. But for a Chimera, Belasco was pretty impressive. So I'd say the number 11 spot is where he realistically goes. Now, the most powerful Chimera in Season 5, Part 1 is easily, without a doubt, Theo Rakin at the number 10 spot. This is where Theo realistically goes, and a lot of people are going to question, why are you putting Theo this low when he should be more powerful than characters like Liam, Malia, Brett, and Lori? And that is because he is a Chimera, and Chimeras by default, I don't care what opinion you have of Chimeras, by default, as a fact, they should be substantially weaker than all regular supernatural creatures, because they're not actually supernatural. They're just enhanced humans. They're humans that happen to have aspects of whatever supernatural creatures their DNA is mixed with. They're not actual supernatural. They're like, I think Theo literally calls them like the Walmart version of supernatural. Like they're not real supernatural. So yeah, and we clearly see this on display in Season 6 when Theo gets rocked by Liam Dunbar. Like one punch by Liam was enough to make Theo's freaking nose bleed. So yeah, Theo clearly isn't as strong as a base regular werewolf were-coyote Chimera as he was in Season 5B, which we'll get to in the next power scaling video, because that Theo is going to rank a lot higher on this list, trust me on that. But Theo, realistically, in my opinion, is number 10. Now at number 9, we're going to have to go with the weakest actual supernatural in Season 5 Part 1, which is Brett Talbot's younger sister, Lori. She has a fight, I think, with Kira, which takes place either in this half of the season or next half, but I'm pretty sure it's this half of the season where the fight takes place, and she gets absolutely destroyed by Kira. Granted, Kira is amped up, you know, due to the Dread Doctors messing with her and amplifying her Kitsune powers, which is the reason why Kira was spiraling out of control. But the fact that she got fodderized by Kira is also pretty embarrassing, not gonna lie, because she's a werewolf who has enough experience to, you know, at least in my opinion, could probably give up, you know, a decent fight. So yeah, Lori's at number 9. At number 8 is gonna be her older brother, Brett. Brett's not too impressive either. He doesn't really do much at all. I think he's literally only in one episode this season. And the episode we do see him in, he doesn't really do anything of significance, aside from, I think, get his ass beat pretty bad. So yeah, Brett is all right. He's not the strongest werewolf. He's not the weakest. He's literally just mid. At number 7, we're going to have to go with Malia Tate as a beta were-coyote. Now, like I mentioned before with, you know, mentioning her a couple of times while talking about the other Chimeras previously, Malia is decently strong, but she's far from the strongest character in Teen Wolf. But she can give you a pretty good fight if, you know, her head's in the game and stuff, and she, you know, is you know, going all out, and she's not taking the fight as like a joke or something, as if she was dealing with like someone like a Corey or something. If she's dealing with a decently strong enemy, she'll put up a pretty good fight. But I wouldn't say she's stronger than Liam, especially Liam with the supermoon. Hell no, she's not stronger than him. So yeah, Malia, this is where I think she realistically goes. At number 6, speaking of which, Liam Dunbar goes here. Now, people who are biased against Scott McCall and will do anything to trash that character will automatically say Liam should be in the top 3. He's stronger than Scott. And to that, I say you lack context of what happened throughout the entirety, especially the second half of season 5, and you're just biased as hell. And you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Sorry, but not sorry. Because Liam, during that supermoon, had all the advantage in the world, because if you were paying attention to context that season and actually paying attention to the story, you would know that Scott was severely held back and severely depowered because he was inhaling like what 2 to 3 weeks worth of Wolfsbane with his inhaler given to him by Theo, which is the only reason Theo was able to kill him anyway, because Theo literally cannot fight Scott one-on-one. He would get annihilated. So yeah, Liam being at number 6 is where I think he actually realistically belongs in a list like this. So yeah, that's where Liam's gonna go. At number 5 is gonna be Noshiko Yukimura. This Noshiko, if she's in a season, should always be in the top 5. She has 900 years of experience as a kitsune, which is enough to put her in the top 5 easily. But the reason why she's number 5 and not in, you know, any spot that's higher than this is because when she fought Kira, who, you know, is her daughter, and she was amped up, you know, after the Dread Doctors messed with her, she did get destroyed in a clean sword fight by Kira, who was amped up. So at least in this half of the season, with Kira having her power spiraling out of control and being stronger than she normally would be, Kira is stronger than her daughter. Kira is stronger than her mom. And speaking of which, that's who's going to be at number 4. Number 4 is going to be Kira Yukimura, who was amped up by the Dread Doctors as a Thunder Kitsune. She's by far one of the most powerful characters in the series up to this point. It's not even close, but she's not powerful enough to make it into the top 3. So yeah, this is where Kira realistically goes. At number 3 is going to be Alpha Scott McCall, by far the most powerful actual supernatural aside from the Hellhound in season 5, as you know, part 1. It's not even close. This shouldn't even be up for debate or discussion. Scott is that dude in season 5, and no other supernatural creature without any advantages like a supermoon or depowering Scott by having him inhale any Wolfsbane is realistically beating him in a one-on-one fight. And I think season 5 episode 1 showed that very clearly. You're not going to beat Scott in a one-on-one fight when he gets in his bag. So yeah, Scott realistically, in my opinion, belongs in the top 3 most powerful characters in this half of the season. At number 2, just by default, because with season 5B we know how powerful he is and he should be at number 2, is Jordan Parrish, aka the Hellhound. Jordan Parrish is possessed by Cerberus, of course. Nothing much to say with him because he has a lot of feats of strength that just outright surpass the werewolves. Like, he was able to, I think, knock out Theo with a single punch clean, and literally Theo spit out a crap ton of blood out his mouth. Like, it was probably, I think, the hardest hitting punch I've seen any supernatural do in the show up to that point. So yeah, that feat alone, plus other things like lifting up Styles' Jeep within a couple of seconds with ease, puts him in a tier completely in his own. And at number 1, in my opinion, is the Dread Doctors, the surgeon, the pathologist, and the geneticist, and they speak for themselves. They were pretty much running through everybody in this half of the season, including Alpha Scott, who got fodderized in every single fight he participated in with the Dread Doctors. It was kind of embarrassing seeing Scott get foddered by the Dread Doctors. Like, they were whooping his ass. It was crazy to see. The only supernatural I think they would have a hard time dealing with is the Hellhound, but aside from that, they are far and above the number 1 most powerful supernatural threat in season 5. It's not even close. They were destroying everyone. So yeah, that's gonna do it for my list for the most powerful characters in season 5, kind of like doing a power scaling of all the supernaturals that appear in season 5 part 1. But now that we've reached the end, I leave this question for you, the viewer. Who do you think is the most robust character in the first half of season 5, and how would you rank all the supernaturals? All my social medias are linked in the description below if you want to follow me or contact me. There is also a Google form below where you can suggest any ideas for future content if that is something you're interested in as well. And don't forget to check out my book series, True Alpha. The first book is now available digitally on Amazon through Kindle. Chapter 11 is out now on Patreon, and Chapter 12 will be released on September 8th, 2023. The official True Alpha wiki is also linked below for questions about the verse. Anything you need to know about the series is on that OneNote wiki.